Hey guys, welcome back. Hope everyone is doing well and that your Tuesday is a phenomenal one. We are going to use some oracle cards today. We're not going to do tarot. I don't know, just didn't feel called to do that today. But in the meantime, I did feel like I wanted to pull some cards and just see what's going on with us. I learned something new today, which I learn something new every day, right? And it was actually kind of funny. There's a lady on YouTube. I generally leave YouTube just running in the background for background noise. And it caught my attention because she said Google. and she I had been studying some new modalities of divination, and the recurring theme through all of the advice or the instruction or whatever you want to call it that I was looking through was to make sure that you phrase your question correctly, right? And it got me thinking when she said Google today, like, because her advice was, you know, the Google results that you get are literally based on the quality of the question that you ask. And I thought, well, that makes sense. And then I thought, how many times in our lives have we done things, you know, in situations with other people or whatever, where we didn't specify the question the way we could have to get a better outcome? We weren't clear enough, right? We weren't, and I was just, this was the crystal I was looking at, right? The clarity was not there. We were not specific enough. And then I was in intuition class, and one of the messages I got for one of the ladies there was to be careful what you wish for, right? Because when we make our wishes to the universe, to God, we're not always very specific, right? Anyway, just thought I'd share that with you. So I have phrased my question for these cards tonight in my head, and hopefully I have phrased it specifically enough. So my question is, what is the advice for those people in the collective who are feeling isolated? For whatever reason, their situations have aligned them to a place where they feel isolated. And I want to know why. I want to know what the purpose is of the isolation and what is the advice to end it, or to what is the knowledge to be gained so we can get the knowledge and move on with it, right? Because I don't know about you guys, but you know, isolation, it's fine for a couple of days, but after a while, you know, you need that human interaction. And I feel like there's a bit of us out there just kind of feeling it. So this message is for you. If this does not describe your situation, then this message is probably not for you. If you're still listening, then there's probably a message in here for you that I'm not aware of. So, what's the message? What's the advice for those people feeling isolated? What knowledge can be gained from it? We're using the animal oracle cards tonight, and I like animals. What can I say? Animals are cool. And I gotta admit, today, guys, it's so funny. I was just telling my friend this. I literally killed a fly today in my house, and I apologized to it. And I laughed at myself. I was like, did you seriously just apologize to a fly? But yeah, that's the level of isolation that I'm at, you know? Some crazy fucking shit lately. But anyway, let's see if we can't get a message. All right, I'm ready. You ready? I'm ready. Come on. There we go. Giraffe. Foresight. You are able to see what is in store for the future. I like that. It's when we're isolated, guys, that you can get clear. You know, the energies around you are gone. You're able to sit in your own energy. It's almost like Windexing your windshield. right? It's not clouded up with the breath of everybody else around you. Bear, boundaries, stand your ground. I don't mean to laugh, guys, but now that you know, you're able to see, having been isolated, what your energy is and what it is you want, and you've been able to focus on yourself because you're not so focused on taking care of everybody else around you. When that ends, because it will end, you know, that's life, everything changes. Set those boundaries and stand your ground. Don't let anybody else cross your boundaries, but especially you don't cross your boundaries, because I've noticed in my life anyway, I'm the one that lets those boundaries get crossed more than anybody else. All they did was ask for something, and it was me that crossed the boundary by saying yes instead of saying no when I wanted to. So keep that in mind. And then we get Badger Perseverance. Dig in and see it through to completion. Okay, so don't quit now. That's been a recurring message for us for a couple weeks now. You know, you're really close to the breakthrough, and don't quit now. Persevere. Let's read from the book on these cards and see what... I like the giraffe. Actually, I've seen giraffe a couple times this week. I don't know. It's weird. I don't often see giraffes. Usually I see, you know, hummingbirds, dragonflies, whatever, the typicals. It's so easy to get your nose stuck to the ground and only pay attention to what's right in front of you. This is especially true when the world is making hundreds of demands on you and there's no time to stop and assess where you're going with all this. The delusions of urgency that grip so many humans prevent you from looking ahead and from taking the time to look into the future and consider the consequences of your present actions. Yes, it's good to live in the present, yet at the same time, it can be equally important to see what lies ahead and set your sights accordingly. Even though no one can predict the future with any absolute certainty, it's at this time you can see with great clarity what lies ahead. So pause for a few moments, step back and look forward. What do you see? What do you want to see? It's only when you stop and look at the horizon beyond what's right in front of you that you can get a glimpse of what's to come. Then you can set your intentions and organize your plans in accordance with what is yet to be. Wow. We've had some time in this collective where we've had the opportunity to sit alone and understand that the choices that we made yesterday are what brought us here today. Having that knowledge and having that experience is what gives us the ability to predict our own future, right? And I think what Giraffe is telling us is you have all the knowledge. You know what's coming. So play it out. You know, if you're looking at a yes-no decision, play out the yes and play out the no, and which consequence do you want, right? We're free to make our choices, but we're not free from the consequences. We've learned that. We've gotten past that. Now we've leveled up to the point where we get to choose the consequences, right? I was telling a story tonight about an intuition class. I was asked the question, what if I could go back and do over, would I go back and do differently? And I actually had a hard time answering that, because with the butterfly effect, I make one change and I'm not sitting here with you guys tonight. And I've actually, I've kind of had that attitude for a few years now. I don't really have a lot of regrets. I'm not going to say that I have none, because that would be lying. But I have an appreciation for those things that I do regret, right? Because if I didn't regret them, I wouldn't have learned to do it differently. And in my experience, it's the differently that made all the difference. So now, knowing that, how can we take that attitude and look forward and try to see to the future of what can I do now that I won't regret but will be grateful for later. And I think that's what Giraffe is trying to tell us, right? He's got this really long neck, and he can see into the areas that, you know, the bear can't see because his neck's not tall enough. It's kind of like that eagle looking at the big picture kind of thing. Only the difference with the eagle is it sees the whole big picture, right? Giraffe is telling you to don't look, 50 years down the road. Look, I don't know, a month, 2 months down the road. What decisions are you making today that will affect you in 2 months? Look at those small future consequences and focus on that. And then we've got bear, stand your ground with the boundaries. I'm not sure I even need to read from that one, but we will anyway. Bear, where are you? Okay, boundaries. For you to be your complete self, the self that the Creator wants you to be, and that you know in your heart of hearts is your destiny, you must not only define who you are, but also who you are not. It's only when you can say a clear no that you can say a clear yes. And both are equally important in defining where your edges are. Setting your boundaries in this way increases your confidence and sense of autonomy, and your choices become much clearer. This doesn't mean to always say no, it just means to be secure in knowing that you can. This is critical in accomplishing your mission, whatever that may be, and it's especially important related to your question. It's very tempting to succumb to others' demands and the various distractions that tempt you, as this often appears to be the easier route to take. Yet in your heart of hearts, you know you need to establish these limits to stay on purpose. And remember, the only way that others can intimidate you is to deny you your own power and operate out of fear. Come from strong love, without malice or aggression, and let them see and feel your full presence. It will work every time. Whatever choice you guys made recently that you never made before, you made with that foresight. You made the choice. You took the road less traveled. You took the route that nobody expected you to take because you saw what good can come of it later, right? Don't question that now. Perseverance. Dig in and see it through to completion. There was a reason you made the decision you made. That reason hasn't changed. Unless it has. Unless there's new information that came to light that made a difference. But ultimately, there was a reason that you took and set that boundary and made that choice. And I think the message here tonight is stand in your power. Not just stand your ground, but stand in your power. You have the power to make changes. You have the power to change the trajectory of your life and of those lives around you. And I think, as lonely as it may be, and as disturbing as it might feel, and uncomfortable, the message is you're almost there. You're almost there. So let's see what Badger has to say with perseverance. Don't give up so easily. You're going to have to be more patient and more persistent than you've ever been. The result or answer isn't that far away, but you've just got to hang in there and stay with it. Too often in the past, you've tended to either give up too easily or else try shortcuts through relationships, careers, and even your spiritual growth. It's important enough for you to ask the question. If it's important enough for you to ask the question, then it's just as important that you remain steady in your pursuit of the answer. It doesn't matter if you've got a few inches or several miles to go. Take your time, no need to hurry, and keep your sights set on the objective. You'll have to put your feelings and any ambivalence aside for the time being. Indeed, you might even meet some resistance, but don't give up. You really are almost there. But before getting there, first live in the present. It's only from this moment that you can truly proceed on your journey to get wherever you're headed. So go to it. And this is associated with self-reliance, determination, assertiveness, and willingness. And oddly enough, that's right before the bear, but we got it after the bear. so I don't know what that means, but anyway, I think, are all these cards the same color? Yeah, they're all the same color. I'm not a fan of that color. It's kind of a mustardy yellow color, but it does represent solar plexus chakras. So that is, you know, that's your power. That's also the chakra that your guides use to talk to you. I don't know if you guys talk to your guides or hear from your guides. I didn't think I did for a very, very long time until I listened, I guess would be the way to say it. Yeah. At any rate, if they're not talking to you directly, then they're talking to you through me. And this was the message for today. So if you are feeling isolated, if you're feeling alone, if you're feeling like the decision that you made basically puts you in this position of feeling isolated, it's for a good reason. And you made whatever decisions you made, and stand by them. You know, stand by them. Start from today and move forward, because you're almost there. Of course, we're always almost there because it never freaking ends, right? Yeah. We're gonna get a healing card just to top this off for tonight. There we go. I didn't mean those things that I said, but it was the only way to trigger your awakening. Wow, that's profound. That is profound. For me, anyway. There's a story about a frog that if you put it in a pot of boiling water, it will jump out immediately, right? If you put it in a pot of warm water and you put it on the stove and heat it up, it never jumps out because it doesn't realize how hot it's getting around him. But in order for you to jump out of that pot that was warm water that's been heating up, they had to turn the heat up and let the temperature change so that you could notice it. We don't change anything unless we're uncomfortable, guys, ever. And if you're to awaken to your true power, to your evolution, to your spiritual journey, they had to make it uncomfortable. And they didn't mean it to be, it wasn't done with a bad intention. It was literally in your highest good for you to see things clearer. And so they had to turn the heat up on you to get you to jump out of that pot. So, yeah, don't take everything so personally. Everything that is good and bad in your life that is seemingly out of your control is done with your highest good in mind. So know that you have awakened to a degree, and we will continue to awaken throughout the rest of our journey. You know, there's different dimensions and layers and all different kinds of things that we could talk about, but at the end of the day, you only awaken to that which you're ready to see. So, foresight. Keep your boundaries. See what you're doing through to its completion. Whatever purpose you had for making your choice, hold that in your conscious mind when you're feeling weak, when you feel like you're going to give in. Know that everything is perfect and everything is happening exactly the way it's supposed to happen for everybody's highest good. Because when you come from that higher self, when you come from that place of love, you can't go wrong. So I feel like if this is involving you and another person, I don't know, maybe you broke up with somebody or they broke up with you, or whatever puts you in isolation. Let's get a message from the other person and see how they're faring on the journey. You came closer than anyone to awakening. I wish I had treated you better. So clearly, you're experiencing some level of separation here, guys. And I'm sorry about that. I really am, because it is very painful, but that's the message from them. You know, they wanted to make things work. They really have a lot of love for you. But they're just not ready. It's not their time. It's your time. And everything's lining up for you, because you are the universe. You are the center of the universe, just like they are the center of their universe. And you may have triggered their awakening. And if you just stayed together, maybe they don't awaken. But do know from the bottom of their heart that they do regret what they've done to you. And they do cherish you and love you more than they were able to express. So see it through, guys. See it through. And love yourself. Love yourself and take care of yourself. Self-care is huge. Huge